my question. If you won't be answering that elastic and inelastic behavior, what is the purpose of explaining you the behavior of the structural steel in the nonlinear zone? So if I am required to idealize this curve, as I told you other day, it is like this, then it is going to come down in further cycles if the further cycles are going to be there. Stress strain curve exhibits Boschringer effect in which nonlinear response develops at a strain much lower than the yield strain. So once the material has yielded initially, later on the strain rate reduces a lot because the material enters into the plastic zone. The amplitude of response increases, the stress level of a given strain also increases and can substantially exceed the stress indicated by the monotonous stress strain curve. So initially your curve goes like this, it is an exponential rise, then it is a constant but gradually increasing, and this is the even the stress rate is also reduced beyond a yield point in this particular structural steel. Characteristic strength we have discussed on that particular day. If a number of samples are tested for a particular property, let us say example yield strength, जैसे हमने उस दिन बात करी थी, अगर एक कंपनी या ऐसा कहना चाहिए एक क्लाइंट एक कंसल्टेंसी को अप्रोच करता है, लेट अस से अल्ट्राटेक रीइंफोर्समेंट, that company wants its specimen report to be given by the consultancy of the ductility of ultimate tensile strength value. तो एक सैंपल को टेस्ट करके कोई भी कंसल्टेंसी अपनी रिपोर्ट नहीं देगी. They will test 15 to 20 samples, and whenever they will draw the certain curves, and the average of all those curves, is going to give the total response of that particular specimen into the tensile zone or into the tensile behavior. So for the reinforcement or for the structural steel, we only do tensile testing because in compression it is quite highly safe. There are two problems which are due with the structural steel is bulging out and tensile failure, because they are made up of that only, they are used for that purpose only. Now I will try to read out. Ductility may be described as the ability of a material to change its shape without fracture. At a local element level, the word which is being used here is fracture. That means the structure should be able to deform maximum without losing its tensile strength or the load carrying capacity, which these words can be categorized into one word as far as reinforcing steel is concerned, is the without fracture. Otherwise, if we try to generalize this statement, कोई भी स्ट्रक्चर मटेरियल जब जो भी मैक्सिमम डिस्प्लेसमेंट लेता है अपनी लोड कैरिंग कैपेसिटी रिड्यूस किए बिना, and it tries to remain elastic for that duration of load carrying capacity, and this total response will be called as the ductility given by that particular material. In other words, the ductility of a structure or its members is the capacity to undergo large inelastic deformations without significant loss of strength और stiffness. So जैसे कि मैंने आपको पहले बताया, let us go back. So the area under this total area, this will give us energy dissipation. And when there is also a formula to evaluate based upon this area under the curve to find out the ductility response of the material. The stress strain curve of a material also indicates the ductility. So what is this? This is a load. Let us see it. Here you can see it as a stress. And here we are having strain. So this is a stress strain curve and similar to the load displacement curve. So here on this x-axis is a displacement. On y-axis there is a load. So it leads us to load displacement curve. The stress strain curve of a material also indicate the ductility. It is amount of permanent strain exceeding proportional limit up to the point of fracture. So if I go back, if you draw corresponding to the idealized curve, if we draw like this type of proof stress value line parallel to this particular graph, here is the strain value, this is the strain value from here to here. Let us say here at this particular point it has fractured. So this will quantify as a ductility in some terms. The ductility of a tension test specimen is measured by determining the percentage elongation, comparing the final and the original lengths over specified gauge distance. It is basically a strain, that is whatever delta L upon L, that will give us the percentage elongation of that particular specimen, but it cannot be calculated directly. It has to be further converted to find out the ductility. The specified gauge length, according to this, we have already discussed that what is going to be the gauge length for a square specimen and what is going to be the gauge length for the circular specimen. So this is the formula which we are going to use. Elongated length between gauge point minus gauge length upon total gauge length into 100. That is, whatever is the total elongation minus the gauge length divided by the total gauge length, that is in percentage, we will find the percentage. Value of 20% can be obtained for mild steel, but are less for high strength steel. Because it is not easy to displace the higher strength steel too much. By imposing testing, one may get percentage elongation value of 20 and 60, and hence the test houses should be careful with the testing process. The minimum required percentage elongations of steel produced in India as per the code, that is, whenever we say code, it is IS 800, are given in table 1.9a. Let us see where it is, 1.9a. Although you can always, I have already kept IS 800 in this particular. So this is IS 800. You all again should have the soft copy of this particular course, this particular code. This we are having 1.11. 1.10. This we are having 1.9. So here the minimum percentage elongation. The values have been given between 23 to 30. Designers normally use specified properties, only rarely calling for their own material test in the case of steel. That is, the properties, as we can see in 1.9a, whatever are the standard properties available into the standard books or codes are used by the designers, because they don't change much from the specified values. जो टाटा स्टील्स है, टाटा स्टील्स का अपना एक हैंडबुक है. So if you are using girders, if you are using girder steel, purely structural steel girders or plain carbon steel girders, which are one and the same thing, for your design, there is a handbook of Tata Steels which gives all the values of yield, tensile strength, fracture limit state, ultimate stress value for a particular grade of structural steel. So those standard values can be used by the designers if even if they are using Tata Steel or even if they are not using Tata Steel, because the even for the same channel section, eye section, or angle section, pipe section, that is, it is not going to change much. In the worst case, if it is a very bad material, it is going to change abruptly. Let us see a couple of points here. The minimum elongation requirement. Safeguard the structure in the following ways. In case of excessive or sudden loading, so if you have already prior to the design or prior to the execution, if you have tested your structural steel for the deflection, that is, if you are checking it for the tensile behavior, that means you are checking it for the deflection. So there are less chances of immediate failure or immediate collapse limit. It helps avoid fracture at a welded zone, which may be caused by differential cooling or heating. It helps absorb local deformations and avoids cracking at stress concentration points. So if you have thoroughly checked your steel girder, then local cracking at the stress concentration points, let us say where we have reaction, अगर आपका प्लेन एक सिंपली सपोर्टेड गर्डर है और वो पियर पे एंड हो रहा है, तो पूरा शियर ट्रांसफर जो है वो सपोर्ट पे होता है. सो वी कैन हैव अ क्रैकिंग एट द सपोर्ट either at the negative zone or in the positive zone. So to avoid that, if you have checked your material properly, That means it is avoided. It helps absorb deformations during transportation, handling, and fabrication. So there is no sag into the girder during transportation or any other process before the actual in situ construction. One important part which is required to be discussed, although we have discussed is their toughness. Already the structural steel has got a lot of toughness. It is not going to vary. The, the area under the stress strain curve is a measure of toughness. So as we know that there are two types of stress strain curve, engineering stress strain curve and true stress strain curve. So the area you can see, which is the shaded one, is under the engineering stress strain curve, which is based upon the actual cross sectional area of the specimen before testing. So the triangular area shown in this particular figure is the elastic strain energy. The triangular area is elastic strain energy. Both strength and ductility contribute to toughness.